Going on YouTube? RDAP Dan here, Federal Prison Time Consulting, and hope you guys are all having an amazing week getting ready for Thanksgiving. Apologize, I haven't been with you guys for a little while. I actually moved over the last several days, and I'm still waiting for my internet to be connected, so I'm here actually in the business center of the condominium I live in. So it's going to be a little while before we get the internet, supposedly, hopefully next week. Due to the holidays, I didn't plan it out very well. So let me know if the audio and the picture is coming up okay. I don't know how strong the internet here in the business center is, but we're going to do our best. And we'll give everybody a few minutes to join us. Hope everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about, basically receiving the best sentence possible, and we're going to tell you some of the strategies that we've implemented since I've spoken to a lot of you in the past. We have some awesome new strategies and some new plans of action that we now put in place to help you receive that best possible outcome. So we'll give you guys all a few minutes here and we'll see who joins us this evening. It's been a little bit since I've been in here putting out a video for you guys, so I really do apologize. Bonnie's always here like clockwork. Welcome, Bonnie. How are you doing? Good evening, good evening. Tomorrow's my birthday, the big 4-1. So I figured I should get this video tonight because I probably won't be doing a video tomorrow. Shelly has some kind of an awesome little 41st birthday planned with a few close friends, so I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I just moved over the last week. Super excited. It's been such a transitional period from where I was to what I went through to where I am today, and I wouldn't be able to do most of this if it wasn't for the support and the awesome feedback that you guys have provided. Not to mention the awesome team of individuals we have from Jenny, Shelly, Tom, Diane. You guys all make this very possible, so I'm so appreciative for the amazing people in my life. So tonight, we're talking about receiving the best possible outcome. Now, we've talked about what you can be doing for sentencing mitigation, preparing for the worst case scenario, making sure that you can stand out different from the average individual in a similar situation to you. We've spoke about narratives, character reference letters, properly preparing for the pre-sentence interview, trying to tie your narrative into the pre-sentence interview, how important the character reference letters can possibly be, the RDAP preparation for those of you that are hoping to not only get sentence reduction of up to a year, but also for those of you that really want to get some cognitive skills put in place. You want to maybe have whatever your substance abuse might be, whether it's alcohol or prescriptions or other types of narcotics, you want to make sure that you can have all of this under wraps so you don't fall victim to the situation you're in again right now. But more importantly, we've spoke about this in a million videos. You can go watch any one of our videos to find out how you can properly prepare for all of that. It's what we do. Here's a link if you want to book a consultation. That's not the link. Let me grab the link for you guys. If you want to book a free consultation to find out how we might be able to help you, I highly suggest you go ahead and click on this link that I'm posting in the live chat right now. Also, the same link is in the description of the video. But today we're talking about a new program that we've been working on for a while, and we've actually unleashed it over the last several months. We wanted to get some reviews back. We wanted to get some feedback. We wanted to see how the process was working. And it's actually been amazing. I would say this is something that's probably going to help us. Again, we already stood out from most of the competition. A lot of the other competition is starting to adopt some of the things that we've been doing, which is great. We knew that was going to happen at some point. Once you raise the bar, other individuals either have to step up their game or they have to get out of the playing field. So we don't want people to leave the playing field because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of you out there that need help, and there's only one of me. So the more individuals there are out there that are doing the right thing, helping people with the right reasons, and putting in the best effort, then the more the merrier. So let's talk about some of the things that we've incorporated. What's going on, Anthony? Anthony from Tier Talk. You guys got to go check over Anthony Ganji's channel. It's not a prison, well, it's prison related, but more from the side of correctional officers and what they go through. So definitely go check out Anthony Ganji's channel. He actually was awesome enough to have me on his channel, and I definitely need to return that favor. But I'm way behind the ball, Anthony. This is like the first video I've done in 2 weeks, thanks to the move and now the holidays, Thanksgiving, and my birthday. So we're going to talk about what we're going to be launching and what we already have launched in a few minutes here. Let me read this question. We got a Heidi. I can't believe I almost missed this. My husband, who I spoke with about you, is soon to be sentenced, and everything you just mentioned I had questions about. Well, that's what we're here for, Heidi. It's really to bring peace of mind and let people understand that they're not alone in this dark time, and there are some actual steps that you can take that are action-based that can produce the best case scenario. So let's talk about something that we've launched here, and this is really thanks to the hard work and the effort from Jenny, who is our certified life coach. Jenny has created a new mindset coaching venue that we've started putting all of our clients going forward into. Some of you may ask why the price has increased. Well, this is why. There's a whole nother level now that this is taken on to really help increase the best possible outcome. So in addition to the letters and the RDAP preparation and getting you right and answering your calls and making sure that you understand what you need to do to prepare and what you need to do to seem different, you got to remember what you're doing now to create new habits. It's easier said than done. Like, I can tell you tomorrow do this, the next day do this, and it doesn't mean you're going to do all of these things. What happens is if you create a plan that you can implement that has steps, it has assignments, you're going to be required to take certain steps, you're going to be required to complete certain tasks between now and say next week. So every week you're going to have a call with Jenny, who's our certified life coach. And in that call, you guys are going to create goals. You're going to find out how you're going to obtain these goals, what your actions are going to be, what your steps are going to be, and you're going to create a plan that works for you. Then what's going to happen is following that phone call, you're going to receive an email with basically a to-do list of what is going to be expected of you. This is going to happen week in, week out for a minimum of 4 weeks. Everybody's going to get 4 weeks when they become a new client. So within that 4 weeks of this one-on-one coaching sessions, it's going to give you some hardcore depth into what steps you need to do to take better accountability, how to identify your victims, how to communicate better with your friends, family, and loved ones, especially if you have little kids or you have a wife or a husband that you're going through this and you're the opposite individual, and maybe you're not communicating properly with them. This is part of what the one-on-one coaching is going to do. But what it's also going to do, in addition to helping you create some new habits and some new goals, it's also going to create an outline that's going to create a report at the end of your treatment. So once you finish your coaching sessions with Jenny, there's going to be an evaluation that's going to be created, and it's going to be submitted to you and your attorney. The whole point of this is we want your attorney to use this as in part of the sentencing memo when they're explaining why they're asking for downward departures. And again, it's really showcasing what you've done different. So you're getting this very detailed report that is going to show the progress that you've made, the lessons that you've learned. Remember, the whole reason that a judge is going to sentence you to prison potentially is they feel that you need to learn a lesson and you need to be punished for what you've done. So between now and that day, the more you can show that you've accepted the responsibility of what you've done, the more you can show that you've learned from your lesson, the more you can show that you've taken on this responsibility of explaining to your friends and family that you understand how you've impacted their lives by making these seemingly unimportant decisions. The more that you can demonstrate now and build that value to give the perception to the judge that you actually have learned something and you're not just another parrot that this judge has seen 6 million times that has a basic bullshit acceptance of responsibility letter, some really from left field personal narrative and character reference letters that just glorify what a great person you are. When you can truly understand the dynamics of what goes into this and you complement this with the coaching sessions that are again, you're going to be a minimum of 4 weeks. These are very, very intense. We've had individuals that the judge has decided no prison time was needed. We've had individuals that were remanded, waiting for their pretrial to go through, that they were able to use this to get out, showing that they're making some actionable steps. This document can create quite a bit of leeway for, again, a more favorable outcome. And it all starts with taking a chance, putting some faith into something that maybe you don't understand, but you're willing to realize that you're not going to have all the answers and that you're going to need somebody else's help to start solving your problems. Once you realize that you're not a know-it-all and that you're probably not the best judge of character on a rational versus irrational thought, because if that were the case, many of you wouldn't be in this situation right now. Many of you have lived a life where you were the rule maker, you were the one that had the final say, and if you wanted things to go your way, you had enough power and influence in the circle that you lived in to where you could create your own outcomes. Well, that doesn't necessarily work, as many of you are learning right now. So many of you have extremely high-priced attorneys, and then the other half of you have federally appointed attorneys. Now, I get to see it from my perspective because I'm dealing with both sides of this, and I can tell you generally, of course there's extremes on both sides of this, but generally, a high-priced private attorney versus a federally appointed attorney that you're not paying for yields almost identical outcomes, crime versus crime. What does that tell you? Is this really comes down to your plea deal. And what does that tell you in addition? That your plea deal is your plea deal. Nothing special about taking responsibility, nothing special about signing your plea, nothing special about cooperating. There's nothing special about any of that. So what can you do to be unique and create distance between you and every other individual that's in a similar situation to you? Our whole job and our whole goal here at Federal Prison Time Consulting is to find ways where we can innovate through this system, find things that nobody else is doing, come up with uncharted territories, and start showing these to the criminal defense attorneys and start showing attorneys ways that they could better service their clients if they understand the theory behind the thought process. And once it starts to get broken down and they look at it and go, okay, this does actually make sense. And when they look at it from every objective angle, and when they can come to the conclusion of, okay, worst case scenario, this is not going to put my client in any more harm than what my client is already in. If anything, it gives, even if it's a small chance or a slight chance, it gives opportunity to create influence within the court system, because this is something so different that it might raise the judge's eyebrow, might raise the prosecution's eyebrow. Probation, when you do your pre-sentence interview. Many attorneys are not fond or not favorable because they've never dealt with it or haven't seen it done before, entering a personal narrative at the time of the probation report. They don't know there's a point to that because they've seen most of these personal narratives, and most of these personal narratives are so run-of-the-mill, glorifying who you are, talking about the church, the volunteer work, your sick children, your sick wife, whatever it might be. That's what most narratives are kind of engulfed with. So when an attorney thinks about it, he's like, well, most narratives suck, is really what he's thinking in his mind. And that's not going to help you with your pre-sentence interview. That could actually hurt you if it shows that you're blaming it on something else. That's part of the purpose of hiring us, is to give you that direction of what waters to stay away from and what waters to dive into as deep as you possibly can. You have to be willing to do things that are outside of the scope of the normal way of doing it, or else you look like every other individual that's going through exactly what you're going through right now. This is why we stress and stress and stress. Don't go easy on your narratives. Don't go easy on your reference letters. Get very involved with your community involvement. What type of community involvement are you going to be doing? Really understand what's going to take place during the pre-sentence interview. Many of you are getting ready to take plea deals. Many of you are not sure if you should be pleading, and if there's a great stage right now for you to be paying attention to. The college admin scandal. Everybody's been following that to some extent. And the two big celebrities, Lori Loughlin, who's the woman from Full House, and Felicity Huffman from Housewives or whatever, the woman that's married to William H. Macy. You look at these two individuals, similar situations, they're both involved in the same scandal. One took a plea, one's going to trial. The one that took a plea deal is already done. She's already gone to prison. She was sentenced to 2 weeks, not that much time at all. Over and done. She's got 250 community service hours, which from my understanding, she's almost finished with those as well. Then on the other side of the ball, you have Lori Loughlin. Now, many of you are in this situation right now where you're like, should I take a plea deal? Many of you do not want to take a plea deal because that to you is putting a nail in the coffin. There's no hope out. You're definitely going to be found guilty. You definitely could be convicted of a felony. And more than likely, you're probably looking at some prison time. So you really have to swallow that pill. Many of you don't want to do it. So you fight, you fight, you fight. And really, you're just waiting impatiently for something to change. And the only thing that's going to change is eventually you're either going to get a lesser of a plea deal, or the plea deal is going to come off the table and you're going to go to trial and almost guaranteed to lose. You see it happen all the time. People that go to trial, look, unless you're purely innocent and you had no play in what they're saying you did, but if you're involved and you did it, the best thing you can do is exactly what Felicity Huffman did. She took early acceptance of responsibility. She didn't waste any time. She didn't glamour up and show up with, a whole entourage of individuals with her. She went in there, she was humbled, she admitted what she did, she took it on the chin, and she moved through it. Now you got Lori Loughlin pulling up in her giant Mercedes van with her whole team of attorneys and going in there and fighting and fighting and fighting. And I mean, she's probably going to get a couple of years where she would have been looking at a couple of months maybe. So take that as a cautionary tale of what's going on, of what not to do. If you did it, own it. Own it, own it, own it. I'm not saying you have to go tell on everybody, but if you're involved, you need to admit guilt for what part you did, that you did engage in this crime that you're involved in order to receive that best possible outcome. That's step one. Then that's when the real fun starts, because now your attorney's got the plea deal. There's probably not a whole lot more for your attorney really to do other than make sure your points are being calculated properly. What are you doing to mitigate your own, I said medicate. What are you doing to self-mitigate your sentencing to help create the best possible income in addition to the plea deal that you just did? How are you going to create some distance between you and everybody else that's in a similar situation? That's what it always comes down to, and that's where we can help you excel in those areas. We've done it for a couple hundred clients by this point. We have some very, very successful outcomes where some of them had no prison time at all, straight probation, home confinement combination. We had one guy where the feds actually completely dropped all charges based on some errors, some evidence issues, and this yielded some very happy clientele because they're getting the results that they're looking for. You have to be real with yourself. Nobody wants to go to prison. We all understand that, but not everybody's going to get probation. Most of you are going to get a prison sentence. And when you accept that, now you can start working on, well, what's going to be the least amount of time I can get, and how can I help shave off time off the front end and off of the back end? You've got between RDAP on the front, your good time on the front, you have things on the back end, you've got first step back, second chance, you've got your programming credits. There's so much that can be done that you can take advantage of, but you have to be willing to invest time and resource into your situation. You can't just expect somebody to do all the work for you. Somebody like me can lead you. We can create the path. We can put the roadmap in front of you. We can help educate your attorney in some of the areas that maybe they're not well versed in when it comes to, after the sentencing phase or right up until the sentencing phase. A lot of attorneys are not very well versed in RDAP. They understand that it's up to the Bureau of Prisons to accept you, but they're not completely understanding of what the qualifications are for RDAP, and that is determined before you go to prison in most cases. A lot of that is what takes place during the pre-sentence interview. So if you botch your pre-sentence interview, or you clam up, or you say the wrong thing, or you don't say the right thing, one and the same, say too little, say too much, you can end up talking yourself right in and right back out of the program, or disqualifying yourself altogether. So if you want to create the best possible outcome, to receive the best possible sentence in the best possible type of a location, it's super important that you take advantage of at least the free consultation and find out what services we have that might cater to your needs. Chew up the meat and spit out the bones. Everything that we have to offer may not be something that you need. You may need one or two or three of the services. You may need all of the services. But the thing is until you get on the phone and you start finding out what's involved and you realize that there is going to be an investment to make this happen properly, it's not an overnight process. There's no magic wand. There's no magic bullet. It's going to require hard work and effort and consistency. And if you're willing to engage, we're willing to help you. Not everybody's going to be helpable. Not everybody's going to be in a situation where they either have enough time or they've gone too far down the system already. They're getting sentenced tomorrow. In a situation like that, there might be limited options for you. But if you're somebody that's just either under federal indictment or you're under federal investigation, or a storm's coming and you're not really sure what to do, you're fearful. I spoke to a guy today who is, he knows he's under some sort of an investigation. It's going to be for a white collar, what did he say it was? It was a white collar crime surrounding some sort of a Ponzi. I don't remember all the details. It was a pretty quick phone call, and there was a ton of investors, money lost, and he said he knew it was serious when, I don't know the gentleman's name, but the person that actually investigated Bernie Madoff, he saw that he checked in on his LinkedIn. So, you know, if you're a member of LinkedIn, it will show you random people that looked at your profile. Well, the person that helped bring down Bernie Madoff, the auditor, checked in on his profile, and he hasn't slept a wink since. That's pretty serious. That actually gave me chills hearing him tell it to me. So guys, you got to take this serious. Don't think this is just going to blow over. And you've heard me say this a million times too. Most of you are really good individuals that just made a mistake, and you think somehow this universe is going to correct itself and they're going to realize that you're not a bad person and you don't deserve to go to prison. As true as those facts may be, really good people go to prison every single day, sometimes for way too long, and a lot of the times they go for too long because they weren't properly preparing with the right plan in place. They thought they had a right plan, but they didn't double check, they didn't fact check, they didn't do their own due diligence. So let's get you to do some homework, let's get you to question us, feel us out, put us to the test, do your research, call us up, see if we know what we're talking about. We're not here to help you get out of prison once you're in there. We're not here to help you go find what laws were broken and to help you undo your sentence or to get you, commutation or anything like that. We work on sentencing mitigation factors. 99% of our focus is prior to going into the system, what you can do to mitigate that, to receive as low of a sentence as possible. And if that's the situation you're in and that's the help that you're looking for, and you're either a nonviolent first-time offender, white-collar individual, I promise you, you are not going to find somebody that is more equipped to handle your situation than myself and the team of experts that we have working behind the scenes on a daily basis. It's really all I got for you guys. Let me see if I missed any questions. Heidi, let's see what Heidi was saying here. Heidi, my husband has been awaiting sentencing for almost 3 years. Is this normal to the federal system? What can I do and his family to do help his pre-sentencing conference when sentencing? It's very normal, Heidi, to see somebody going through the situation for 2 or 3 years. I have a client that hired me probably within my first 3 or 4 months of being released from federal prison, and he's still waiting. Hasn't been sentenced, hasn't taken a plea deal. It's getting a little bit closer, but he's right around that 3.5, 4 years as well. So it's not uncommon. I would say the average is 6 months to a year, year and a half. That's probably the norm. So you're probably on the high end of what's going a little above average, but it is normal. There is definitely, your husband's not in a league by himself. Is your husband incarcerated right now? Is he remanded, or is he out on pretrial? Because being out on pretrial, Anthony, amen to you. It's getting me to 7. I've been suffering in this 6,000. That's because I put out like one video every 600 years now. We've just become so busy over the last year and a half, that it's become extremely hard to find the time to really put into the content. But Jenny's creating basically a calendar. All I need to do is follow it. She has some very specific videos she wants me to put out. She wants me to start creating some videos for your attorneys that you can send to your attorney to really give them a better scope of what we're doing. But we've also got another new program. It's more of a product that we're going to release because, look, not everybody can afford the cost of the consulting services. So there is going to be a product that we're going to release that is really going to put a lot of what we do into a do-it-yourself type of a service. There's some other consultants out there that have some do-it-yourselfs, but it's more like, here's how you do some basic letters. We're going to try to take the full gambit and give you I don't want to use the word cookie cutter, but we're going to try to give you a one-size-fits-all to really give you some basic information that otherwise you would have no access to. That should be coming out here. There's going to be some online courses that are going to be included, video tutorials, audio tutorials, to really give you a very, very, very exclusive opportunity to get something that you may have otherwise not been able to afford. We don't want to make these consulting services only for the overachieving wealthy. We want anybody that's going through this type of a situation, first-time non-violent offenders, to have access. And for some of you, the videos just aren't enough. So you're going to need some tips on letters. You're going to need some samples on letters. You're going to need some basics for RDAP. You're going to need some basics for your sentencing, the sentencing allocution, what you might be saying, your sentencing memo, substance abuse, how that gets played in, what you're looking at. So we really want to give you guys as much information as possible. Bonnie says, can we hear from Jenny? Jenny is so camera shy, guys, but yes, she is agreeing to do a video as long as she can just maintain a voice. Jenny's like the Wizard of Oz. She's the voice behind the curtain. Her picture is on our website. If you go to our website, federalprisontime.com, her picture is there, but she doesn't do video. So she's not going to come on and do the video. She says she just shuts down. If she's just on audio only, she can do just fine. Many of you have spoken to Jenny. A lot of you have spoken to Jenny. Almost every client that might be in the room right now has spoken to Jenny at one point or another for different phases of the different programs. So yeah, but we definitely want to get Jenny on the air. I'll let her know that you asked, Bonnie. Are you going to put together post-release packages helping people stay on the right? And that is something that we are going to put together, but I can tell you a lot of our focus will not be on that, Bonnie, for the simple fact that we do not get a large following of individuals. I would say probably a very, very small percentage of the individuals that watch us reach out to us, that's what their needs are. So because of such a small community of that, and I think the reason being, a lot of people that have been in and out of trouble, not sure how to stay on the right path, they're the ones that are of the mindset that they don't need something like this. They're like, oh, I've already been to prison. There's nothing that Dan's going to tell me that I don't already know. Dan only did 13 months in prison. I'm not going to learn anything from him. So this absolute mindset, this broken mentality, a lot of individuals don't want to give the time of day because they feel that I don't have enough prison credit or something to that effect. And the reality is what we're trying to do is we're trying to prevent people from coming back to prison, and it's all about changing your mindset. You know, I was sentenced to 42 months. I was looking at 25 years or plus. It was a long haul. Just because I only served 13 doesn't mean I don't know exactly what you guys are going through. Just because I served a short amount of time in a pretty cushy, low environment prison, prior to that was my real prison sentence. You know, I got in trouble in 2011. I didn't go to prison until 2014. So that 2.5 year span, that was where my mind wanted to explode, where the thoughts of suicide would enter in, the thoughts of fleeing, the woe is me, victim mentality, my poor children, this isn't fair. If I had more money, I wouldn't be dealing with this. That's where my real demons lived. Once I got to prison and saw what it was actually like, it wasn't the end of the world. But needless to say, I only served 13 months because I decided early on that I wanted to do everything within my power to shorten whatever time I was looking at and get back home to my family as soon as possible. There was a whole lot of luck in my situation because I didn't have a consultant. I did speak to a consultant prior to going, and the minute that I didn't have the 10 grand that they were asking for, it was finito. Call was done, hung up on me, that was that. So I do get it. Is it worth $10,000? Absolutely. Is it worth $20,000? Absolutely. But not everybody has that type of financial luxury. So we try to create programs and packages, and that's why we're creating this roadmap with the success method and with the courses that we have coming out here. Jenny's putting a lot of time and effort into these courses. We've hired some experts to help us develop it, and we're very much looking forward to where that's going to take us in the means of being able to help a larger variety of individuals from lower class all the way up to, you know, people making $1 million or more a year. We want to be able to give these services to everybody that needs something. You remember Connor Dykes? He was interviewed by you. Henry's involved with that. Very minimal involvement, but still getting time. He is in a county jail. Yes, I do remember Connor Dykes. He did not get any prison time, is the way I found out. He's actually a stand-up comedian now, and I guess that's what he's doing as a career. I get quite a few comments on that video. So I think I remember talking to you. Oh, Heidi, okay, I recognize the last name now. I feel that where we're right now, we can gain a lot of insight from your group. Yeah, you know, it's To each is their own. You know, I understand that not everybody is going to be able to take advantage of something like this. I understand the holidays are coming around and people are really going to be tight on finances and income. But I'm telling you, this is your life. This is your life. Your attorney's not going to be going to prison. Nobody else is going. You are the one, or your loved one is the one that potentially is going to be looking at some time. You need to do everything within your power to create as much distance between yourself and the system as possible. And the only way you can do that is by staying focused, staying diligent, doing action-based techniques, showing and demonstrating your remorse, your accountability, identifying your victims, putting hard work and effort into these narratives, these reference letters, taking advantage of the life coaching, the weekly course that's going to end with signing off on an evaluation that's going to be given to you that you're going to use, that your attorney is going to use with the sentencing memorandum. All of these pieces, when they go into conjunction with each other, when they're all going in the same direction, not any one thing is going to get this job done for you. But when you start putting enough little effort in all of these areas, you've got all of these components working together, this is when your engine starts to come alive and it really starts to show the judge and every other stakeholder in this situation that maybe he's not just saying these things because he wants to get a shorter sentence. His actions are speaking louder than his words. He's making changes. He's mentoring. He's got people following him now. He's helping others make better choices and better decisions. This is the roadmap that we will help you develop and implement. And it's take action, action, action. This is why I don't have all of the time I used to have making videos. I love making the videos. It's probably one of the most favorite things I do with this organization, but I just don't have the time and effort to do it. It takes time, you know, just to set all the cameras up, and you know, it takes a couple of hours of prep, coming up with the content, coming up with the thumbnails. There's time and effort that goes into this that my energies and my bandwidth is really required in other areas. But I know you guys have those sleepless nights, and I know that these videos and talking to you guys and going through what you're going through, I know these videos can create peace and create a resting, calming some of the anxiety. It's not going to reduce it, but it is going to help you manage it to get you on to the next day. So I will do everything I can always do to keep making content, to keep making videos. And once we get through the end of this year, we should be freed up going into 2020 with some of these new programs that are going to really kind of self-pilot themselves. It will give me some time to come back to do what you guys need, and that's to explain why you need these services. Well, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Tomorrow's my birthday, so if you want, go ahead and text me a happy birthday. My phone number is on this screen. If you text me a happy birthday, I will mention you on the next video, which will probably be on Monday. And then, of course, we got Turkey Day right after that. I was going out of town, but no longer. This move took longer than we expected. We moved into this very large building, and moving stuff up into a freight elevator was just a fucking nightmare, to be honest. So I hope you guys have a awesome, happy Thanksgiving. I love every single one of you guys. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share this information. Anthony Ganji, you're a rock star. I always appreciate when you come on and give me some support and love. Means a lot, guys. Hope you have a very, very happy Thanksgiving, guys, and don't get in any trouble. I'll see you guys real soon. I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting. People helping people, communities method, one day at a time. Peace.